Islam Makhachev should go down in weight class. He's going up against Michael Morales, against Carlos Prates. These guys are way bigger than him. And look, in my book, Islam's already the GOAT. He's already accomplished a lot. You know, he's already beaten records, everything. You know, a lot of people don't want to hear that, but if you compare stats with anybody else, and I told you, if y'all watch my video, I told you why he's the GOAT and why, you know, the other one isn't, okay? But watching this fight, it made me worry. It made me worry because I've never seen Islam, you know, go up against somebody that bigger than him and control the fight. Usually he's the one that controls the fight. Now, with that being said, Islam, right? Makhachev, not Islam. He's got to go up against Carlos Prates, who's also way bigger than him. And Michael Morales, who's way bigger than him. First I want to say, if he goes up against Michael Morales, I don't see that fight going well for him. That's the only time, and I've never really picked against Islam. You know what I mean? Y'all can call me Islam Dick Rider, whatever y'all want to call me. Because I never really picked against him. That would be the first time I pick against him. I'm sorry. Michael Morales is big as fuck. And then what people don't understand is, you know, his legacy's on the line. Now, he's accomplished a lot. He's accomplished a lot in the industry. A lot. A lot, right? Everything's already set in stone. But the thing is, Islam is 5'10", my height. Could you picture me at the welterweight division? It wouldn't blend well. You know, it would not blend well. Not trying to compare me to Islam because we're totally different, but just frame-wise, height-wise. There was a gap. You could clearly see a gap. The thing is, Ian Gary, he fights so down low when he was fighting him. You couldn't really see as big of a gap. Oh, damn. And then Islam, he fights a little more standing up, so it made the heights a little more even than usual. But it's too big of a gap. That's not his natural weight class. His natural, like 155 isn't, I wouldn't even say is also his natural weight class. He's like, if there was a catch weight, I feel like he'd be around there. If we're just talking about fighting, he's just so small for that division. These guys are so big. These Carlos Prates, these Michael Morales, Ian Gary, you know, he's down there, got thrown into the deep end. You know what I mean? He's got thrown into the deep end immediately, off rip. You know what I mean? With an undefeated Jack Della Maddalena. Wasn't he undefeated? Like, he was on a crazy win streak. And then he beats Ian Gary. And then his next opponent might be Carlos Prates, which I feel like is the best opponent. He should not just go to Michael Morales. He got to get more of a feel before he fights Michael Morales. If he really wants to know, if he really wants to win, he has to get a feel for the division first. Ian Gary's not going to give you that. Out of the three, I would say Ian Gary's the weakest. Even though Ian Gary beat Carlos Prates, in my opinion, I would still say he's the weakest. Carlos Prates, the performance he had against JDM was crazy. But the thing is, the reason why I feel like Islam would still win that fight, or even has a chance, is because Carlos Prates, his takedown defense and him getting back up isn't the best. And I feel like Islam will have a field day. But somebody as well-rounded, as athletically gifted as Michael Morales, who really should be in middleweight, that's been knocking out people, and he's only 25. He might be the GOAT. You know what I mean? I'm not even trying to, you know, throw him to the wood because, you know, he's still young, but he's doing really well. He's doing really well. And, you know, I'm worried. You know what I mean? Because I looked in, listen. I looked at Islam's eyes. I think it was the 4th round. His orbital bones fractured. I instantly thought of Ilia Topuria. When he was saying, I'm like, no, another upset? Another upset? That was going through my mind. I'm like, another one? We just had Hamza. We just had Ilia. Alex Pereira. I wouldn't really call it an upset because I thought, like I said, I got that prediction right. I thought Alex Pereira was going to lose. I just seen him moving so slow in his sparring. And then, you know, Gone is such a natural at that weight. I just didn't see it happening. But oh my God, man. I looked in his eyes and I seen Ilia Topuria. And some people would say, you know, that fight was cheating. Ian Gary should have won. And I'm a person that, you know, when I see damage, I'm like, oh, Ian Gary's good. Islam's fucked up. Yeah, he should have definitely won. But when you really watch the fight, you'll notice that Ian Gary didn't do what he was supposed to do. Times where he was supposed to capitalize, he didn't capitalize. And that led to his downfall. Because, you know, Islam was playing to win. The small stuff he was doing, he knew was gonna equate to what happens at the end of the fight. But to just see the way the fight went, and I know a lot of people aren't happy. I'm not too happy either. The only reason I'm literally happy is because, again, Islam's my favorite fighter. And I'm not like no Dagestani fan where I just be, if they be on some bullshit, they be on some bullshit, you know? Like, what Islam did with Jack Della Maddalena was completely unacceptable. That was some bullshit. I can honestly admit that. But we can't just sit here and say, like, what Islam did was wrong. He did what he had to do to win. The reason why Jack Della was so bad is because Islam clearly didn't have to hold him down the whole fight. He could have made it a competitive fight. He was skillful enough to do that. You know? But he actually had to win. And when you put yourself in Islam's shoes, you got to know there's a lot on the line for him. This isn't just a fight like everybody else. This isn't just a record like everybody else. This is a part of a plan. You know, like his dad, not his real dad, but, you know, his father figure set up. So this is bigger than even him. You know what I mean? So you can't blame him for not taking unnecessary risk and putting his, you know, his shit on the line. You know what I mean? You can't expect him to do that. And I know that. You know what I'm saying? If I had the ability to win, if I had like a backup win plan where I could always go to, like I had to go to, like, all I gotta do is just wrestle him. And that's my backup plan. And the backup plan always works. Then why not use that backup plan when you need it? And clearly he needed it in that fight. So I don't really blame him. Even though it is a terrible way to win, it's not the best way to win, but it's still impressive. It's still an impressive win at the end of the day. Ian Gary's 28 in his prime. Probably didn't even hit his prime yet. You know what I mean? People usually hit their prime at 30 because at 30 your IQ is more developed. Your skills, you're more in touch with your skill set. So in my opinion, he didn't even hit his prime yet. You know what I mean? And Islam took him right off the chessboard. Now you got to worry about Carlos Ponce. I'm not gonna lie, if Islam, like, I think the chance of Islam being Michael Morales is really I say it's a 3 out of 3, a 3 out of 10 that he will beat Michael Morales. Michael Morales is just so damn big and he's just so damn athletic. What do you do against a guy like that, man? There's nothing you can really do. I mean, he will have to rely heavily on his grappling because, and I don't really watch Michael Morales fights, which I really have to. Like, I watch like a small amount of fights that he had, and in those fights he dominated. And those fights, like the Sean Brady fight, he dominated. Immediately got him up out of there. It's just, when you have so much punch power, athleticism, like, it's going to sound like dig around again, because clearly I be dig around everybody. Have you seen? But he reminds me of like a John, you know how John Jones is very athletic. Not saying like he's just as good, because he's still young. We don't know who he is yet. But he reminds me of like a John Jones, you know? Based on how athletic he is and how out of the box, he's like a out of the square type of person. I'm sorry, I'm cooking right now, that's why my camera's constantly moving. But I just feel like he has the potential, real potential to be really good, and he's so young. Could you imagine him beating Islam? Because by the time he fight Islam, Michael Morales is going, like, he's in his prime right now. Not even in his prime, because he's 25. 3 years older than me. That's wild. What have I been doing in my life? But I can see Michael Morales. I feel like Islam should go down a weight class. I really do feel like he should go down. Like, because if I was him, I would go down. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all can say that's a bitch-made move, this, that, and the third. My legs are done. And you gotta give me Michael Morales? That shit's scary. I ain't gonna lie. You got me. You got me. But now, Islam's not gonna do that. There's no, like, he can't go back down. His body's just not made for that no more. So, he kind of has to stay there. Sorry for the bad hair. I haven't had a haircut in a minute. But I just feel as though the ball's in his court, you know? I feel like the ball's in his court, and he's going to have to pull off something crazy, because at least have Carlos Ponce is his next fight, he can build himself into that. But to have your next fight being Michael Morales, who is not like anybody he's faced. He's absolutely... Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 3:18 p.m.
Okay. Yeah, Michael Morales is completely, like, he's never fought nobody like Michael Morales. You can say the same thing about him, about Michael Morales, but it's just, I'm worried. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch a lot of Michael Morales fights. I'm going to watch a lot of Carlos Ponce fights. Maybe that'll get me more confident about it, but as of right now, Islam's in a world of trouble. But this has been it. Yeah, peace. No outro, just peace.